burp, a burp, and a burp. Greetings, everybody. Welcome to Records of Evil. If you've missed a lot of adventures, go back to YouTube and watch them. I can't really give you much anymore after this. You know, we're 42 episodes in.
Yeah, look, guys, it's been 42 episodes. That's a lot of recapping. Just go watch them.
Yeah. There's some evil crap that's been happening.
Hold on. I think I can give a 5-minute version. We were in a cult. The cult fell. We traveled to the future. We messed around for a while. Searched genealogy for a person. They were going to get back to us. We then went to to Japan, or whatever Japan is in Faerun. Found the eye. Then we went to Fantasy Australia, and then we went back home. And then we got more info. Finally, got the info about the person, and we traveled to find the person.
And now you're in Fantasy Central America.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep. So you're in Fantasy Central,
and we're in Fantasy New York,
which is in Central America here.
Yep.
It's weird, but that's where it was mostly settled in this timeline, in this version of a world. North was worse. So if they put it where, like, New York would be equivalent in this version of in Toral's version of the world, he'd probably be dead. Anyway, so yeah, you found out there was a list of people. I could probably you put it in a chat. I could probably scroll back to the full list of people. I thought you did.
I did.
You put it somewhere. But it was Jessica Stone. You looked into the people here. And so one of them was unfortunately a junkie. Had tragic backstory, ended up in the streets, ended up in the care of a pimp, ended up on drugs, and and being a lady of ill repute. One of them is a woman who is way too old for being a party girl, and she's a rich party girl. And then, which you've looked into both of those. You've acquired the drug addict to hopefully maybe cure her, kind of. And I believe Docs had scoped out the
Yep.
What's the proper name for that kind of thing?
Oh God, I don't even know.
Is there an issue,
Oh,
Lightning? Debutante? Maybe not debutante. Like
Money baby. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a little hiccup. Doesn't seem to be on my end. Must have been on Twitch's end. Honestly, I blame Twitch.
Fair to blame Twitch most of the time.
But yeah. Anyway, inherited a lot of money. Having issues with who's taking over the company, kind of thing. And is just like hangs out with a bunch of friends who are also probably way too old to party. So they're all way too old to party. Hang out with boys much younger than them, even though they're not like that. They're not whatever. Anyway, that's them. And then there was a shady man in a dry cleaning business, and a man who may have been killing some people who ended up outside of town.
Let's see.
But both of them
inherited wealth. So they're either inherited wealth, old money, silver spoon.
Yeah,
I'm getting.
Okay. I think there's a term for like the Paris Hilton type, but yes. I don't remember it. Gotta be honest, not good at remembering that kind of thing. Anyway, the dry cleaner and the person that probably murdered a bunch of people. One of them has a
Trust fund baby. That's
baby. That's it.
One. Yep.
One of them has a daughter which is way too young. So it would be too time consuming to figure out something with that one. The other one might not even have a child.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where you're at right now.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, you've just Were you doing anything else? I can't remember from last week, Docs. Were you doing anything else with the debutante trust fund girl?
More like a wait and see now that we have a potential person already.
Okay.
Also, Docs does not want to go back to a nightclub because that was a terrible experience.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you've got a girl. Which one is the one? You have... I can't remember which name is which, gotta be honest. But if it's Jessica or... Celestian, that's
I
one.
believe the one we grabbed.
Yes.
And we were gonna have that doctor...
come in from...
I forget exactly where.
Cormyr?
I think that's
It's
correct.
the capital of Cormyr. I think it's Suzale.
I'm not even sure where Cormyr is. I think
It's
it's right here.
on the inner sea.
It's currently blocked by a werewolf on this map.
Guess I can move that werewolf on this
Nah,
map.
just leave it there.
Okay.
Fond memory of the terrible times.
Of a werewolf, a mermaid, a South American possum, a dire wolf, a rat, and a spaceship on this map.
Mm.
Yep, I was right. Suzelle from Cormyr. Yep, that was it. I can remember things somewhat well sometimes. All right. Is there anything you want to do in the meantime, or are you just going to kind of wait for that doctor to come in? You've got her. You've got some drugs for her that you got from the building she was in. She is, I believe, high and confused, as I recall.
Sounds about right.
And we're gonna keep her that way till what's his face gets here.
And she thinks that she's in a porn movie with you people.
Yeah, apparently with Mishka.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Mishka.
The lady is just
Mishka's
a little
very
confused. I mean, the lady's very confused too, so I mean, it happens.
Yeah. I mean,
Dr. Whalen, that's who we're waiting for.
Dr. Whalen.
Mm-hmm.
Whalen Dutani. Wait.
I got to write that down.
Dr. Whalen Dutani.
Yeah.
Where have I heard that? What's
Alien?
It's Alien. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my brain just clicked that now.
That's why there's a spaceship on this map now.
There is a spaceship on this map, but it's been there since before this map. You heard about this map, so it might not be related. Or is it?
Be.
That's funny. I did not catch that reference.
I insight checked the DM.
That was just about random, just trying to come up with a name.
Oh, really? Or was
that sounds like a doctor name. Yeah. Okay. Docs is just gonna.
Where's the movie shooting?
Oh right. So this is the one you want to go with.
It's our... We can try something else in the meantime, but... Pulling aside, but if we can get someone else before she gets here, we can just OD her and then move on.
True. Well, because Jessica will be a very difficult one to deal with. Only seems to go out partying. Would have to stop partying to do what we need done. So yes, I suppose this is the best bet for now.
Yeah, we can figure out what. Yeah. Any ideas for Celestia? Celsian?
Well, we have that doctor.
No, she's Celsian. Sorry, Jessica.
Oh, Jessica. A few. She did. It was kind of like this thing of, for her, because person who talks too much, for their own good was like, oh, I don't want to run family business. The little brother should do it. That was her kind of deal, and she just wants to party.
She just wants to party and use up the family money. Since her older brother passed away, she's in a much more position that she's in charge, but her younger brother...
probably going to pass over her to the younger brother.
Well, the younger brother had been doing... what the hell would I have him doing? He was busy with... my brain is just a little extra farty today.
I feel that.
I can't remember what it was, but the little brother was busy with certain activities that he was like, it's not necessarily he couldn't take over, but it was more difficult for him to take over.
Right.
It's sort of like, I think the younger brother's child is most likely going to take over from her because she's not probably going to have children, kind of thing. Because remember, I think it's the grandfather is still alive of the entire family. It's that her parents have passed away, and her brother.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I have a few ideas. Having her younger brother step in is one of them. That would take quite a bit of responsibility away from her, and perhaps she could be more easily convinced. However, I'm not sure if we should act on that immediately or not.
Maybe we see how things go with the doctor first to see if we need to do that for her.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit before the doctor arrives. He said it was like a week. I mean, you have time to try to do something else.
I thought it was like 3 weeks. Okay.
Okay, it might have been 3 weeks. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah. It was a while.
I'm assuming it's a combination of him getting away from what he's working on, getting the right people assembled that can travel, and then taking the travel to get there.
So we're effectively here for a month, and then for her recovery, however long that'll take.
I can tell you from her research, that the recovery probably takes at least a month, if not more.
So we're here for at least 2 months then. If we go with her. Okay, so Docs will suggest keep her in a condition where she won't, I suppose, die, and then I can continue working on our backup.
Very well.
Okay.
I'm ready for our scenes. She's hanging off you, Mishka.
Oh, God.
He's just kind of just like carefully keeping her up and like lightly patting her, like,
Just like, okay, this is a little too much. Not right now.
We gotta wait a little bit.
Okay. All right. So the messed up woman is certainly messed up. If you're going to be looking into, over the course of the at least month now, what do you want to look into? You have some cards on your table. You have the basic information that you picked up, which she's not hiding. you know, the fact of her, like, you know, family situation. She's not hiding that at all. That's information that's pretty easy to pick up on. You also have the bit of information that is, there is always, because of your genealogy parts we talked about last week, the possibility of using the fact that you have, well, someone who's going to be dying soon who's related to these people.
Mm-hmm.
That's an extra inheritance of something, and that is wealth that's an entirely different branch of a family. Like a very distant branch in comparison to here.
Yeah, that could be some leverage. More on, I suppose, Celestian rather than Jessica, because Jessica's already loaded with money.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what Docs will do is kind of, I guess just because Jessica is the kind of person to overpost on social media, just kind of like try to learn as much as possible from that.
Okay. It's a lot of, you know, the usual, like, complaints that she's giving. She talks about some fashion or here and there too. She's, you know, so she'll give like a comment about like, you know, like a pair of shoes she really likes, you know, something like that.
Just got the new boots of this season.
They're fabulous. You know, they're just wonderful. Not like last season's. We gave them a negative. People thought they were great, but we all knew. Pink was not the new black. That's about as much horrible fashion Easter stuff I can give you. So expect more of that from Lowe's Loafers. That's a company now. Lowe's Loafers. You've made it a thing. Congratulations.
Good.
But yeah, so, you know, there's also, like, mentioning, like, when she's going out to, like, various clubs and stuff. She'll talk about that.
Yeah, Doc's gonna try to, like, learn, I guess, a pattern of quote-unquote partying. Like, what specific times this person goes out, things like that.
She tends to... It's not every day, certainly. There's plenty of days that she doesn't go out partying. It seems like mostly the days she doesn't go out partying are days that, well, there's business to be done. Because, again, she's technically inheriting the company, and usually it's like when there's company business that her grandfather kind of forces her into. Her grandfather has a lot of control in this case because the grandfather can also cut off her, you know, accounts at this point in time. She actually inherited a good chunk of money, like her, like a trust fund. But that trust fund, she, at a certain point in time in her 30s, was basically, what's the proper way of saying this? Lost control of it.
Mm-hmm.
They basically said,
Okay.
You're not allowed to take out certain amounts. She needed approval, basically, to take out amounts. And it had been her older brother's job to take care of that. Older brother's passed away now. The grandfather has actually put a lawyer in charge of that now. Like the family lawyer. For doing the same thing of effectively looking after her and making sure she gets like a proper stipend of money, but not too much because she's very bad with her money.
Mm-hmm.
So, because of that lawyer, which is a chunk there, the grandfather has influence through there.
Okay. Alright. That's good information.
So, like, she does have money. She's got a lot. It's just that currently she doesn't really have a good way of accessing it.
She could have more.
She could have more. Well, currently the way for her to get more is to effectively take control of the company and wait for her grandfather to pass away. But the problem with that is she's got to be in charge of the company. And though she is an airhead, she's not an idiot. She knows that the company is the way that her family earns money. And so currently she hasn't had a good plan of how to manage things post her grandfather if she just wants to party, who could be like put in charge. She hasn't figured that out, kind of thing. So there's a complexity of issues in the entire inheritance thing that you can wedge yourselves into.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Examining some abilities really fast.
And again, she's probably aware that she doesn't want to have children, and she's got at least 20 years before her younger brother's new child, who I believe I mentioned his wife was with child. Not sure what if it's male or female at this point in time. Whoever that is, it's going to be 20 years before they would inherit.
Yep. Right.
Take control of the company proper.
The big issue because there are things docs can do, because convincing smart connections to various things, he could deal with the business side of things. However, convincing this woman to stop partying and want to have a child is going to be very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where the main problem lies.
But if we could convince her that it might be tied to having an inheritance from this other person.
An inheritance that is completely free of someone else's control.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Could work. Yeah, Docs will sort of start formulating a plan on that for a bit.
Okay. You can kind of permeate some plans there.
Yeah. So
All
Docs
right.
is going to be busy for a bit. Good luck dealing with the drug addict.
How are you keeping the drug addict in check for
We'll run some
a month.
sex scenes.
Are you relying on Mishka to do that?
I don't think Mishka's gonna...
No, I'm yeah, Vercel will do it.
Alright.
Alright.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Then there's a lot of awkward times throughout the month.
Very specific tastes.
Yes.
Are being
We'll make it
invoked
clear.
here.
We'll make it clear that it's a full-length porno, and she'll be paid well.
Okay.
Alright.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think she needs much convincing.
no, she doesn't. You have drugs, and she's technically away from her pimp, who's probably not that nice.
Yep.
And,
Yep. Awkward scenes
Yeah.
happen
Plenty.
off camera.
Yes, plenty of awkward scenes occur. It's I guess you distract her for a month. Definitely. Docs, what are you going about with your month of adventures on that side, then? Are you doing anything else? You've got the basic information, then. Are you doing anything on it?
So, Docs is going to take the sort of genealogy papers, that kind of stuff. Basically just disguised as a lawyer kind of person, and try and get in contact with her, using these papers to be like, hey, you're the sole heir to this person's fortune. We need to have a conversation about it, kind of deal.
Okay. All right. Then certainly she'll get back to you. A lawyer will contact you and be like, Mistress Stone would be willing to communicate with you about this inheritance you've mentioned, but requests that you that I be there for the meeting.
Of course.
Excellent. Then perhaps on Tuesday, I believe Tuesday at noon, Mistress Stone shall be in a small cafe in downtown. I can plan to have her meet with us before she joins with her friends for their fraternizing.
That'll work out well for me.
Okay. Are you showing up alone then?
Probably. They have their hands full.
Yes.
I will take the documentations and things like that with me. I assume we got copies of the genealogy stuff.
Yes. You've got all the information, the basics are down. You kind of have who is the connections and stuff. I will say, the connections show that she's not the only possible inheritor.
True.
It is kind of hard with that report to fake it. This would be beyond just, using computers. You'd have to know genealogy to know how to, hide something.
Forge
it a little bit, make it look like she is the one.
That's what I mean, is, in order to, you could do a basic forgery, but you hope that a high-paid lawyer for a very expensive family
True.
who might have it checked on, hard to say if they would find an actual genealogist which would be able to see through most forgeries.
True. Then...
I mean, we know who the people who it's possible for them to inherit are, and 2 of them are pretty much non-existent.
We could just say...
The only person who might contest is Mark.
We could just say she's the only one we could sort of track down as well. Because one's a drug addict, the other kind of disappeared off the face of the earth, quote unquote.
And one of them has possible criminal history, so you might want to avoid them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's probably a good pretty thing. So if you brace that to the lawyer will be this kind of probably someone who's approximately the same age as Jessica. He's got glasses, kind of a short goatee, human. Jessica's just kind of looks like she's she looks like she doesn't want to be there, but she is. Fair. She's got this is probably a nice little cafe somewhere, so she's got a cup of tea or something that she's drinking down in. It's what name did you give?
Oh god, what was that dude's name? Oh, I don't remember what the person's...
I think I...
The one old guy, I don't remember what his name is.
His name was
But Docs
Roland
would.
Styland.
Yeah. So that would be the name of the inheritors. Are you asking what name did I make up for it?
Yes.
Oh, where's my... just open this book and make a random elven name real fast. God, what page is this crap stored on?
I mean, you definitely could have, like, some false identities that maybe you had from certain work.
I'm definitely gonna just roll a random name that Docs would have a false identity for. He has 2 sort of known ones that he travels about. I'm just gonna roll that, and roll another one.
Ooh.
Because I have a book that does these.
Ooh. Random.
Sure, that's the name that I got.
Ryerdon, Tilth.
Elven names are weird.
Anna.
Yeah, there we go. Elven names are real weird.
Tiltathana.
Yeah, Tiltathana.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Riardon Tiltathana.
Yep.
Is that man or woman? Just
that's apparently a male name, but elf names are weird.
Yeah. Mr. Tiltathana.
Yes.
He'll offer like a hand for a handshake kind of thing.
We'll return the handshake.
Sit down.
Okay.
Would you like some tea?
Oh, I'd love some tea.
Can we get this over with? The girls are waiting for me. Madam, as you know, this is a serious matter that must be taken care of post-haste. I assume you're contacting us and not Madam's grandfather, as Madam's grandfather is, of course, on in ages, and she is the oldest in the family that is of reasonable age to have any sort of inheritance.
Yes.
Well, what are these reports that show that she has genealogically connected to who was this name that you gave?
Ronald
Styland, and I will take the genealogy papers, hand them over, and there were others, however, one is looking into it, less than reputable. One seems to have sort of disappeared, and the other has some shady business that we would rather not get involved in, leaving Miss Stone as the only one eligible for this.
I understand. With inheritance, you don't want people of similar blood. You wish to find someone that would be reputable on the hand, if you can. I can understand that, and if they are equivalently set for inheritance, would just one be inheriting? And are you arranging the inheritance with Mr. Styland?
Yes. Upon his passing, the inheritance will go to Miss Jessica Stone, should she agree to the terms set about.
What sort of terms are they?
They are odd terms, and I will never fault anyone for not agreeing with them. Roland specifies that the inheritor must have a child to continue a bloodline. An odd request, but she is the only one eligible.
What sort of money does Mr. Styland have?
Kind of good. We got a decent look at him at the wedding.
We did talk to him a bit. We know he has an estate. Most of it, from what I remember, most of it was like property based.
Yeah. Like a property. It would be like a home in Faerun. No, was it in where was it?
It is in Faerun.
Somewhere in Faerun.
I believe he lived somewhere in Cormanthor, in that region.
Yeah, an estate in Cormanthor is the main inheritance.
Of course, I would like to look at the paperwork that you have, the genealogy boards, and get that verified by one of our own experts. And also, I would like some basic information on the funding of Mr. Styland, for I could discuss with my client the possibilities of this. Hey, kids.
Of course. And I will make up how much money this man has.
Okay.
With some deception.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right.
That's not the right page.
Where's that on this sheet? I'm playing too many other systems. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
27 deception. I make up a number.
It seems like a very reasonable number. You basically, like, in this case, it's sort of like you give an estimation of the value from what you knew about him. You get the feeling that you're pretty close to it, but since you don't know the exact number, again, there could be something else. There could be less something, but you effectively guesstimate an amount, and you give it. And again, I'd like to verify all this information, and then look into Mr. Styland ourselves a little bit.
Of course.
I'm sure he's given you these information, but as someone else that works for, let's say, people of wealth, they don't always reveal the truth about their wealths. As he kind of like glares at Jessica, and she's like, and she just kind of like rolls her eyes a little bit.
Completely understandable.
Anyway. Perhaps after looking into this information, we can contact you again and see if there could be possibilities for continuing negotiations on this end. And then perhaps some form of appropriate will can be drawn up on Mr. Styland's end. That would name Jessica with the stipulations that you put for proper inheritance.
Indeed.
We would also probably wish to discuss if there could be some flexibility within those stipulations. But we'll have to see.
Of course.
Would I have to move? I'd like it out here with my friends.
Well, I don't believe you would have to move. It could be a lovely vacation spot.
Everybody on the continent is so blasé-faire. They think they got all the shit with their fashions. They don't even know that yellow is the new black. Every time I open my mouth and do her voice, it's just, it hurts my soul. Just a little
it
bit.
hurts Doc's soul. Doc hates this woman.
I just
I'm
try
about to say that Doc
Doc's-
probably is just hating his life right now.
Yeah, Doc's got the worst job.
Oh, it's not a great job just to like come up with like terrible lines and like be that infectious. It just there's something feels wrong about using her. Anyway, okay. Negotiations are done for now. They'll look into things.
Cool. Yep.
It'll probably be like at least a week before they contact you again. Let's say like it's a week and a half when the lawyer Martin Fitzgibbons. Martin Fitzgibbons of Fitzgibbons and Blannerscat.
Okay. That is a surname. What is he? Is he like a human?
He's a human. The
Human?
Fitzgibbons
Okay, that's kind of what I
are
figured.
humans. Blanderscat is a gnome.
Oh, okay. Two humans and a gnome.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Uh-huh. It was technically two brothers and a gnome and a gnome friend of theirs that founded the partnership company. What the fuck do you call like a lawyer group again?
Oh,
My
God,
brain is fried on that
I
one.
used to know what these were called.
Yes, I should
Firm.
know. Firm.
Firm.
Who settled the
Firm.
firm.
Yeah.
And currently Martin is in the long line of one side of the Fitzgibbons. There is technically, so there's two different sets of Fitzgibbons that are still related, but much more distant now that it has been a few hundred years that the firm has been around. There's always been two Fitzgibbons and a Blanderscat at charge of their firm.
Oh.
I just like saying Blanders.
It's a good name right there. Oh boy.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I've said that now, and now it is a thing that I enjoy a lot. So yeah, so Martin Fitzgibbons will contact you and be like, it seems as though everything in the genealogical report you've given is in order, and indeed, we've looked into the individuals that you mentioned, the 4 other individuals, and we can see why you went to us, or came to Miss Jessica. She is obviously the best choice in the comparison of the roots.
Yes, I would say she certainly is.
Though there is the issue of claim, getting together the will proper would be required at this point in time for Mr. Tiltathana. Frickin'.
Blame Xanathar's Guide to Everything.
Though that's your name.
Tiltathana.
Stilland.
That's my name,
Stilland. Oh my god.
Styland, yeah.
Styland.
Styling.
My brain is just a little fried. I said that earlier. Styland. We would require that by Mr. Styland as hastily as possible. If he is as elderly and possibly passing away, it seems as though should that estate default and look to it, then of course it will be divided in between the branches of individuals that you have said. Though in this case, the amount you would be going to for Miss Stone's family would probably be defaulting to her grandfather, of course.
Yes.
Now, I've discussed things at length with Miss Stone, though the idea of creating a progeny of her own has always discussed it quite to a degree. Upon lengths of discussion with this, since her entire goal in life has been to secure an inheritance, and though Mr. Styland's inheritance seems to definitely help in that degree, her own trust fund has been, at least publicly it has been known, to be not quite within her control. She's not one to hide this fact. Upon discussing with her, though, I have agreed to try to broach a subject to her grandfather. The idea that perhaps going into some form of rehab for a while, let's say 9 months to a year. And during that time, perhaps a suitable donor could be found for such procedures, since we would wish to avoid the nasty business of paternal issues when it comes to inheritances on many ends. Would that be fraternal? Paternal's parents, fraternal's father. Fraternal
yes.
issues.
So Dux will agree that would be the best course of action to keep this perhaps a little bit on the down low from the public eye, because these such things can be stressful on someone in the public eye.
And Miss Stone is quite in the public eye. Sometime in a rehab facility, perhaps in the area of Cormanthor, or nearby to the Moonsea or the Sea of Fallen Stars, would be a change of pace for her, away from friends, family, and the prying eyes that would know about what is going on until after everything has been secured.
Yes. By what date would you need this will by?
I would assume it is less on our end and more on your end.
Of course. I will get it to you as quickly as I can, so we can
Miss
finish
Stone
this business.
continues to have her own issues. Again, public knowledge that she is quite dissatisfied with having to take over the company. And, perhaps if she was to inherit a lot of wealth, another suggestion I have made is perhaps a proxy we could put into place until her younger brother's newly born child is of age. A proxy then in charge of the company. Even her grandfather could perhaps step back in while he is still alive. He has been unwilling as of now because of worries of inheritance. But... and especially with the issues of the many deaths in the family. But some reassurance that stability is out there, even on his granddaughter's side, so that perhaps if something happens and she is forced to take over, she would be ready for it. Hence why the idea of a rehab would be very acceptable in his eyes.
Of course, yes, that perhaps could work and would be for the best.
Well then, contact me when you have the will. We can meet and I can look over the details of it. I will need to spend some time with it to get the exact wordings of the contractual sides of it. When it comes to an heir for the Styland estate. A stable heir.
Yes. I will contact you when I have it and send it over.
Okay. Alright, I'll hang up. So, you could use Jessica. You've manipulated the situation enough that she might be willing to-ish. Willing enough.
Mm-hmm.
Willing enough is the words in this case. Though there is a step along the way that seems to be a little difficult. You still have to convince her to make sweet, sweet love with a dark god.
Yeah, yep.
The idea of a child is within her brain, though, at least.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. So that's a thing that you have. You've taken a step in the right direction, but you still don't have a will. You haven't convinced Styland to sign the will and stuff. Granted, again, you could try some forgeries. You just have to hope, with the distance and such, that it avoids a lot of issues. But also, Styland's estate is, has paperwork and stuff. So, I mean, it's very difficult to forge a lot of this.
So, I have planned that as well.
Okay. Well, I'd say it's been like 2 weeks. In about a week, the doctor will be showing up to help, Cilician.
Cilician.
So you still have that option. And you can still look into the, will. Why don't we actually take our first break here?
Yeah, okay.
This is a good spot for it. We're about an hour in. And, this is going to be going... I'm guessing someone's going to have to travel back to Faerun.
Sounds like it.
Yep.
So that'll be a long journey of that self there, too. So it sounds though like some rehab's in order while, at least one person's traveling. You could wait until the doctor arrives and all of you could go. That is an option. And then leave her in the doctor's care.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll discuss that once we get back. So if you need to get a drink, a snack, go to the bathroom quickly, go ahead and do it. We're back in a few minutes to continue the adventures. Alright, boom, boom, boom. We're back. Hey, everybody! Anyway, so yeah, we've returned. Hi. So now there is possibly 2 plans for gaining someone to have Asmodeus's kid for you, willingly. One is a drug addict you're working on rehabilitating. The other is, of course, Jessica. And
Where do you go that we have to work on rehabilitating?
yeah,
Quote unquote.
I mean, it's gonna take more time for the Jessica side than it is to be like, you can start the rehabilitation process at least. So, do you want to split up and leave someone with Jessica, or do you want to wait until a week from now, when the doctor will show up, and you can get him to look after Celicia?
Well, I mean, if anyone would go back, it would have to be Docs, since the talker of the party.
Yes. And you have the most connections with the man, as you have connections with the Elven Mafia, which he technically has connections with, which, I mean, no one really mentioned Jessica, which, I mean, might come up at some point, but who knows?
Yeah. So, I could head back, and you two could stay here and deal with this, or someone could come back with me.
Well, I guess I could stay.
What was my accent for Thursday? What was my accent for Thursday?
Cockney.
I could stay here, and a lot of you can go. I've been here the entire time. You forgot about me.
Oh, poor Thursday. Just forgot. Just in the corner over there.
I mean, well, I think one of the player present people should stay back, but
you only need good old Thursday for this one.
I understood half of that.
I guess, Mishka, you could stay with Therzy and I could go with Docs.
This was the GM saying you don't have to split the party.
Yeah, it'd probably be fine if we just leave Thursday here.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're trying to say. Yeah, I guess that's
Thursday is technically a powerful Aranis and rogue.
I don't think anyone is gonna fuck with someone who looks like a devil.
Yeah. Giant red and black wings, the power to manifest a sword of flame out of nowhere, that kind of thing, also to be able to, tear out your kidney, too, just in case.
Yeah, I feel like no one's gonna mess with that.
That's fair. Okay, I guess we can all head back.
Okay.
Alright. Okay, so Thursday will stay behind, getting the hotel for a long term, manage all the stuff. Perhaps with some advice by an imp using the telephone if need be, who probably knows more.
Sounds good.
As for the rest of you, you are heading back to Faerun. You'll make your arrangements. I'm not gonna go over a lot of arrangements. We can say you can take some. You have a week to figure out your arrangements. Yes, Cat, Mare, definitely Mare. To Stylin's estate, and back. So we can say in the course of that week you can figure it out. It'll be probably around the time that the doctor will arrive. A little before then will be when you can get travel. Meow. Yes, you want some attention. But I'm running a game. Yes, meow. So yes, what was I saying? Yes, that it'll be at least a few days before you can get your actual travel. So it'll be close to the time when the doctor will be arriving, probably just a little bit before then. You'll load up Therese with all the information she needs in order to properly. Hey, get your face out of my bowl of food! Just because I used some gravy in there. Damn it, cat.
Cat's hungry.
She's always hungry. She's like, it's better than... It's like wet food. It's like another treat. It's better than that dry food I keep eating. The dry food is more balanced nutritionally for you. That's right. Nutrition. I'm going to put stream cats in chat after that one there. What was I saying? I was saying stuff. You have arrangements to get back. It'll be another journey back. Probably not as long as the last one. Within now a couple of weeks. Within like a week, maybe a week and a half, you can arrive in the area of the Styland estate.
Yeah.
After the long journey, of course, you find yourselves in the good old forests of Cormanthor. Now, Cormanthor... it's known to have, like, originally had, like, some elven connections, but currently it is fairly elves have moved back in there since then, but like there's also like a large contingent of surface drow that moved into that area after the elves originally retreated from that area, fall of Myth Tranor. Myth Tranor has become an archaeological site, what's left of it. The city itself is pretty much destroyed. There was another of events that happened there that destroyed most of the city. Very little of it remains. And even the wreckage that even amongst that wreckage, you know, it's an important archaeological site that has been moved into. Nowadays, other than a few various elven settlements that seem to be kind of on the edges of the area, a few drow cities that are in there, cities and settlements that are in there, the area is still a fairly huge amount of wilderness. Things like Shadowdale on the western side are some of the larger cities that actually exist within the actual area. Your good friend, Mr. Styland, lives outside Vunlar. Vunlar is a relatively small city. Back in your day, it would have been a small farming village, effectively. But it was a major trade route, on the major trade route between Shadowdale and places like Zental Keep and Flat. So it's along that main road. Now, I describe it as like a small city. Still not a huge place. But Styland has a lot of investments in the region that keep him going. When you discuss things with him, you have to remember he said he didn't have a lot of liquid in money. That was something that he doesn't have a lot of. He's got his estate and a lot of the investments which keep things going, pretty much now. The Styland estate is probably the largest estate in this region. By far. It's probably a house that is out of place in this region, I would say, even from large estates that might be found like in areas of the forest and things like that. Certainly. But you can arrive at the Styland estate, driving into Vunlar, finding a nice hotel there, and then heading for the Styland estate. The estate itself is located on a amount of land that's approximately 200 acres that are owned by the Styland family. Granted, much of that area is undeveloped and is wilderness, but there's a network of small roads within the estate which link to the various places. There are walls around the entire area, walls or natural boundaries that block off the areas of the estate. So it is still possible to break in, but again, like, they have a lot of ground.
Docs would have attempted to use contacts to try and set up a meeting with Roland, if that is something Roland would agree to.
What are you saying to him? You can get in contact with him through the Elven Mafia. That is easy enough.
Yeah.
That's an easy way to do it, because you could go to the Dawn. You recently did a job for the Dawn. The Dawn would be like, the Dawn in that region. I forget what I named him, but we'll just call him the Dawn. He's like, he'll ask you about it. He'd be like, he's like, they know Styland. Styland, probably his family has deep connections to the Elven Mafia on his elven side, because he's a half-elf, and also, like, probably some of his businesses have been used for, let's say, cleaning up some of the Mafia's money here and there occasionally.
Okay. Would probably... I'm not sure what to say exactly. Maybe something along the lines of... Because he's the only one in his immediate family left, I assume, right?
Yes.
Perhaps dangle some sort of way to keep his, I guess, name, businesses, and lineages continuing.
Literally, just offer him. How about we put a stipulation that they must have a child with any.
Yeah, I mean, a way to keep his side of the family going, and his family businesses going, things like that.
He'll agree to meet with you at that point in time. He won't agree to anything over directly, but you'll begin a meeting with him.
Yep.
So you can arrange to enliven Funlar and to head up to his estate. There's like probably like 30-foot stone walls that kind of block the way and kind of separate out his estate in either direction. So they're these massive kind of stone walls that kind of surround the estate. There's these large iron gates emblazoned on each gate with the like the house symbol of the Styland family.
Okay.
They are indeed old money in this region. There's probably like a little, like one of those little electronic box things that you can kind of, click on to, like, contact the front door or something.
Yep.
Who is it?
It is... I would probably just give real name.
Mm-hmm.
Docs, we have a meeting with Mr. Styland.
Let me check the appointment. It does seem as though you're written down as having an appointment with Mr. Styland. Allow me to get to the gates for you. There'll be like a buzzing noise, and the gates will open slowly, like with kind of like a slowly motor open, allowing you to head inside. To take your creepy, totally not murder van, because you bought a murder van. An unmarked van.
That's right.
I'm curious.
We do have an unmarked van.
We do. Do the raccoons still live inside the back? Or have they migrated into wherever they were living at them?
I think you moved them into your apartment.
All right.
I believe. So I think that's where they're at now.
Okay, I was just curious if the valley would have to deal with raccoons in the
Have the
back.
raccoons come with us.
I mean, if you wanted to, but they probably are just busy doing raccoon stuff in your apartment.
Doing raccoon crimes.
Yeah.
Raccoon crimes helping the platypus make nests.
Yeah.
One of
Worms.
them is like holding a cup of coffee and drinking it.
Oh no.
Take after me,
Who
Chip.
uplifted the...
Who uplifted the raccoon?
They're people now.
It has this jittery twitch to it.
Raccoon, what's the word? Revolution.
The
The Raccoon Uprising will come soon.
The Raccoon
Yeah.
Revolution will come soon. Join me, my furry brethren, as we take out the tall ones and take the city for ourselves.
Mishka's the only safe one.
Probably. And maybe the imp. The imp's pretty nice to them.
I think it.
And also, like, at some point in time, the raccoon is going to be coming riding in, like, in full armor on top of the dire platypus.
Be part of my army.
Yeah. And
They're gonna ride the sandworm horse
no.
Oh,
thing.
yeah, the sandworm horse things.
God.
Well, most of them ride the sandworm horse things, except their leader, who gets to ride on the dire platypus.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, God.
To war, my friend! To war! Anyway, yeah, so you can drive in and head up to the estate. It'll be a little while, again, because, as I said, like, 200 acres, estate, it's a little bit of a drive, probably about 5 minutes to get to, through a kind of winding, slow road up to the actual estate. There's a number of cross-off streets there, but most of them are kind of like smaller paths that have, like, gates in the way. The main road that's kind of in here is just that, the main road that leads up to the main house. You do see a number of people that seem to be working on the estate. You get out of, like, the foresty area pretty quickly and get into an area that appears to have some, well, both areas for animals and so some kind of stables and stuff with a number of animals. It seems like there's, like, horses. It looks as though he also keeps stegosauruses, terror birds, and some kind of what looks to be an elephants. So he's got herds of each of those, and then he's also got some, like, orchards, it looks like, that are being well maintained.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And eventually, though, you'll come up to the main estate. There's this, like, impressive kind of, like, fountain set piece in the middle of a kind of, like, large kind of roundabout area leading up to a house that's probably the largest manor you've seen. This is akin to, like, a castle. Certainly this place screams, oh, I spent a insane amount of money to buy this in the first place. The maintenance costs are probably very expensive too. Again, says something about actually how much wealth he has. A younger boy will kind of, or a young man will kind of move up to your vehicle and, like, kind of open the door on the passenger side and be like, do you need me to park your vehicle in the garages? Or are you going to leave it right here? How long will your business be?
I don't imagine our business will be too long. I will leave it up to these two whether they want their precious van driven by someone else.
I don't mind.
I don't think people
Lots of us drive it.
I don't think people actually bought vans that look like you'd be kidnapping children in. Except to kidnap children. At least that's what the TV always shows.
They're business vans.
Right. I'll go park it for you. He'll be wide-eyed and he'll say right, but it's hard to tell, like, because he's got, like, a pleasant demeanor, whether or not he believes you or not. But you don't have the child kidnap van. / murder van.
I mean, realistically, it is usually like a work van. Usually it's like...
Yeah.
Like, if you see them on the street, they're usually driven by painters and people who have...
But they're
Usually they're marked.
They're marked.
Yeah, this is unmarked.
You have an unmarked van.
It's fully unmarked.
Yeah.
I feel like at some point Misha will probably make a mental note to potentially
put something on there.
Just to make it a little less
Advertise
suspicious.
your growing petting zoo.
Yeah. Should probably have like the animals help design something, just like decorate.
You can have the petting zoo, and you can have Bob make baked goods.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. We have our own business that will make money on the side now. We can
Exactly.
afford things.
You don't have to
Don't know how
rely
many people would be
on the
interested.
crazy rich lady who's a little less
Yes.
reliable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Lightning, that seems sus. Uh-huh. Unmarked white van. Anyway. Alright, you can head up to the door as your van is being taken away. And, you'll be, greeted by an older man in a very nice suit. You're Mr. Stylin's guests.
Yes.
Mr. Docks and friends.
Uh-huh.
Excellent. Please come this way. I shall take you to the sitting room. Mr. Styland will be with you shortly.
Very well.
He'll escort you to a little sitting room. As a hiccup. Just a little bit. It's perfect.
Distracted. Nick everything.
I mean, you could take stuff.
I was making a dumb joke.
Mm. The Thursday showed up here. Jeez. I thought she stayed back.
Yeah, you kept her back, so she's. It also kept her away from all this money, so she didn't just take all of it. It's probably for the best. Yeah, she'd be eyeing it up and just be like, you just see her opening up her in a coat or something and just moving a hand over to something right away. As soon as someone had her eyes off of her, just I don't know what you're talking about. But the butler, Jeeves, because all butlers are named Jeeves.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
All butlers also did it as
Yes.
well.
Well, he hasn't yet. He might, though. He'll escort you to a very fine sitting room. There's some nice couches there. Like a piano. It's got nice windows to the outside. Getting plenty of sun. Bookshelves covered in all kinds of what look to be very old books and such. Would you like any tea or snacks while waiting for Mr. Styland?
Tea would be appreciated.
Very good. This kind of more slightly, even a little short for dwarfs. A dwarven lady will kind of come in and be like, "Hi, what you need? These guests require tea." All right then. Very good. He'll turn and walk away. The dwarven lady, dressed as a maid, will eventually come back and serve you tea. If you need anything else, just ring the little bell over there by the door. I'm sure Mr. Starling will be with you soon. Enjoy your tea.
Thank you.
Alright. You will be kept waiting. Probably about 30 minutes. You can hear that there's probably a clock somewhere in the main hall. So that's kind of ticking away, That click. Other than that, you can see out the window, there's It looks like a bunch of gardens, a hedge maze of some kind, because every rich person has to have a hedge maze. It's the rules.
Yeah, you gotta have your Shining-esque hedge maze.
It's a rule. It's an important rule that, you know, like, if you've got a lot of money in a large estate, you need a hedge maze. What you have in a hedge maze, that varies. Up to you. Secrets? A nice fountain? Nothing?
The frozen body of Jack Nicholson?
Mm. They bring it out every winter.
Yeah.
Regardless, though, it's a little bit of a wait. It's a pretty nice room. Any of you doing anything while waiting for this half an hour, or are you just gonna kind of like just sip tea and patiently wait?
Knox will just sip some tea and admire the room and probably the big piano, because Dox plays piano.
Are there any animals in the area?
Probably outside you can see some birds flying around. Probably like squirrels are in the area, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
At some point in time, like 10 minutes in, you'll see like a man walking a bunch of dogs. Looks about like 8 dogs. They're all like, I'd say, medium-sized dogs.
Right.
Probably some kind of like hunting breed. Like a hunting dog. And he's walking them, you know, taking them out.
Doing their thing.
But other than that, it's pretty quiet. You will eventually notice that, like, over by the window, there is a cat lying down. It seems to be sunning itself in a spot.
Interesting. Well, I will interact with this cat. I'm also curious if do we happen to know everything we need to know about this guy?
Not really. You know some basics about him. There might be more details that you do not know. You know, it's the unfortunate thing that the full history of his family isn't known to you. You know that there was a point in time that one side of the Ston bloodline basically became half-elves, and he's descended from that bloodline.
Got it. Yeah, I'm wondering because theoretically, I can get minor, granted, info from the animals in the area. I can talk with them.
Yeah. Well, you could try talking with the cat. It's like a white fuzzy cat with like a emerald and sapphire collar. Kind of got like the very nice fur, puffy, probably some kind of pure breed cat. Just kind of like lying down. It actually blended in very well at first glance with this little like pillow that's on display that it's up on top of. It's like perfectly curled up on the pillow, you know, sleeping in the sun.
Nice.
So you want to chat with it?
Yes.
Okay.
I will chat with this cat.
Okay. What do you say? Go ahead.
It's more like well, first like minor little small talk, and then it's like, what do you know about your owner? Like, how long have you been around?
Perfectly good day, is it not, to sun oneself? Oh, smart human. They do happen to happen occasionally. Most of you humanoids are very imperfect, unlike myself.
Right.
I am this household's goddess after all. Yeah.
She is full on playing into this cat's fantasy here.
So, you want to know more about this household? Well, the old man is very nice. He gives me very nice pets and has quite a warm lamp that I can sit on in the evenings. I get all the best fish.
That's very good. Have you seen what he's been up to recently? At all? Like anything that he seems to be finding important?
Well, he has been very obsessed with my daughter as of late. But I can see why. She's the fresh girl on the batch. I myself have my times. There was a few days that he was missing, but now he is back. My warm, warm lap. Just a perfect place to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Did you happen to hear about why he was missing?
No.
Do you know who might have?
The dark-clothed human always seems to be with him all the time. The one that led you in here. He probably knows most of what's going on in this place.
Okay.
I don't think he likes me or my daughter. But our master is the one in charge. So I have free reign of this place.
It's very good for you.
My family has been rulers of this house for many generations. My master and my grandmaster were also cats of this house. Just goes to show how perfect we are all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Screech my chin.
She will absolutely listen. She will definitely, I'm sure, look insane to the others, but she does not mind.
Weird look. From
I'll be honest, you looked weirder when you had the worms in your hair.
Yeah, I mean, Doc at this point is just happy you're interacting with something normal.
Not a cursed animal.
Normal, right.
Not.
You can be my servant too if you wish.
I'm just gonna steal this fucking cat.
Now be gone, human. You've scritched enough. I must return to my nap.
Okay.
The sun is at the perfect angle right now.
She knows and backs off. It's like, okay. Gives the very minor information that she did gain to them. Like, hey, you went missing for a couple days. That butler guy probably knows what the case of it was.
Yeah, the butler.
I don't know how important is it.
Yeah.
But we know he disappeared for 2 days.
Oh, it's information, and it's good you're talking to something normal for once.
Right.
No, your answer is what about the raccoons? That counts as normal.
True. What about the raccoons? The raccoons were perfectly normal.
The raccoons were a step in the right direction.
I suppose that is the best I will get.
Alright. And so then, Ronald Styland will arrive. As I said, he is a very old half-elf man. Probably on his last few years. Pushing an age that he's certainly not doing as well. He walks with a cane. This looks to be silver cane with a dragon head on the top of it. With kind of these like outstretched wings to kind of put his hand on top of. Looks to be probably some kind of chromatic dragon. Kind of hard to tell. Especially with his hand on top of it. And he certainly kind of walks with a kind of like a hunch when he's actually moving. As the butler will kind of be walking behind him, as if to kind of watch him as he's going to kind of move in and kind of sit down in one of the chairs. It's like, so, what the hell do you folks want? Do one of you chat with me at the wedding?
I believe one of us did, yes.
You were looking into my
Pretty sure Mishka did.
bloodline.
Oh,
Yeah,
I know Vercel
you.
did.
Well, you find something out, and what's in it? What's in it for you to be looking into bloodlines?
How to phrase this? A person of interest is looking to make sure a certain bloodline continues.
All right.
And that would be good for you as well, given the scale of this beautiful estate. It would be a shame for it to fall into disarray with no one to inherit it.
I'd made some arrangements that could have probably handled things pretty well, but you're saying I could change my arrangements. Why would I do that? Now, granted, the arrangements won't really keep it in the family, so to say. Family's dead. Or it seems as though that you claim there are some long-lost relatives. Well, from what I know, the family's dead. I certainly didn't find anything close by on the family tree.
They are distant family, but blood-related, and Docs will plot a copy of the genealogy paperwork and hand it over and point out specifically Jessica.
Mm-hmm. He'll pull out, like, from a pocket, like, a set of, like, little spectacles on a chain and kind of put them up to his nose. And kind of take, like, a look over him, like, some, like, reading glasses, you know. What you're saying is true. There's a very distant cousin of mine. As you kind of throw it down on the table, like, on the little, like, coffee table in the middle of the area there. Granted, blood is blood, even if it's, dozens of generations removed. It's probably the closest thing as I got to right now. Alright, so I've got someone that could inherit. Granted, I've already made arrangements. A stipend will go to your mafia friends, a stipend to many of my, workers here. Jeeves here will get a pretty good severance package. And of course then the main estate itself become a historical location. Thought that was best for the area here. With provisions on how things are to be run. Most of the businesses would be going to, unfortunately, individuals within those companies. That's one thing I was worried about. Companies. I've been running them for quite some time now, and though taking a step back in the past couple of decades, certainly the investments we have and the ownerships we have don't feel like they're up to snuff anymore. You're saying if one of this Jessica would be up to snuff to running a bunch of companies?
She and will explain, I guess, connections to the other wealthy family that they have people that are blood related that would be up to snuff as well.
He basically just talking about the firm.
Yeah, the firm. But it would remain solely in his bloodline rather than the individuals of other people.
Still, not really a fan of the idea that things aren't going to be quite as in control there. Granted, I haven't had much control. So there's that issue of any kind of control. So, I can see your proposition on my end. The wealth that my family has accrued, the name that my family has accrued, can keep going. Would you be willing to take on the family name? A distant relative.
I believe she would.
But you, from the sounds of it, this Jessica doesn't have an heir currently. But you want her to have an heir.
Yes.
Why? I ain't no fool. You're obviously after something. It's got to have something to do with, if I'm looking at these papers right, I'm no fool, I've looked at genealogy a few times before. There's a piece missing here that I missed, apparently, in all my investigations. I didn't think to look in Waterdeep. I think that's where my family connections go to. There were some missing records on many of the ends that I looked into, that we couldn't tell what city we had come from. You were able to piece that together from the other end. How? And who is this, Dia Ston? That seems to be the center of your investigation. It's obviously that we're related to her. Both of us. That's where the bloodline comes from. So it's obvious that you had to have found this name. Because there's no... This genealogy tells me you're tracing the Ston bloodline from this Ston woman.
So Docs knows this. I don't as a player, because I wasn't here for any of that.
Back in the day before the group time traveled, they had already arranged for a woman, for the same ritual you're doing now, for that to be happened. Dia Ston was the woman they had arranged with and had made a deal with. Basically a deal with the devil to have the child of Asmodeus. So
deal still remains as long as it's someone in the bloodline.
Yes.
And that deal is required for the
you effectively
conception of the...
It's the problem is like
deity.
Half of the ritual, like the way if you think about it is you're not starting the ritual from scratch. Part of the ritual was started a few thousand years ago. You're completing the ritual, which is using as a catalyst to bring temporarily bring an aspect of Asmodeus here, in order to have a child with a woman who will ultimately become the vessel for an avatar of him to exist in the material plane.
Okay. Docs will sit back and clear his throat. He'll just be, honestly, probably completely honest.
How much are you revealing? The cult, the time travel, the ritual, like how much of it?
That a pact and deal was made, and Asmodeus wants to collect, essentially.
Lord of Devils made a deal with an ancestor of mine in order to have a child. Honestly, with things that have happened in my family, that doesn't surprise me. So you're looking to get one of these descendants to have said child. Taking your Asmodeans, then?
We are.
Ain't a lot of you left. Granted, there aren't a lot of religious people left. Not the same way as it used to be. Granted, I'm an old man. A few hundred years ago, even then, there was a little bit more. But, that faith of all has kind of taken over last 500 years pretty well. Keep the divine generic. So,
well,
I see what you want from me. You want a spawn of darkness, or you want to use my estate as leverage?
that is correct.
Tell you what, maybe you can arrange something. Even though we're distant blood. Well, let's just say I'm still concerned about my actual bloodline dying off. So, my body's failing itself. Probably won't be living much longer anyway. Doctors say I probably only have maybe a year or two left. At most. Technically dying now. Could be less. Could your devil use a vessel when it manifests in this realm?
Could DM, could Vessel do that?
Honestly, you're not sure, actually. This is one of those things that you don't know how Asmodeus was going to manifest to have a child with someone. You don't know if it was...
make a roll?
Sure.
But I also be
Roll religion. You can roll
will
religion.
help one of them, so one of them gets advantage.
Yeah.
Whoever has the higher religion score will get helped.
I have 6 for religion.
I have 8 for religion.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll roll an extra d8 on top of my roll.
Just rolling.
She still rolls well.
Yeah.
He does.
It's pretty good.
But then I also get a d8.
Mm-hmm.
Nice caps lock on.
Okay.
You rolled higher.
Yeah.
Both of you will kind of like think about this issue here. This is a very unusual issue. To be honest, Asmodeus may have been able to manifest in a semi-physical form for a short period of time in order to have the child with the ritual. You can still... Having a proper vessel would make it that he could have more time. Whatever body he would have, a being of that power possessing it would degrade it very rapidly. Another issue is, most likely with a being of his power level, obviously divine power level, kind of makes the vessel empty.
Well, it could help the ritual move along better, but it will kill you.
Then how about this? I can arrange for the main estate to be transferred instead from a historical site to this Jessica woman. And the main businesses too. My staff still gets the stipends they were promised. It'll be up to them if they want to stay on. Jeeves, in a way I would like for you to stay on, if you don't mind. What I want is, I'll give myself up to your Devil King. Because then, I'm pretty sure part of me will be in whatever spawn you get there. Something I never had. Won't get to see a child. I'll be long since dead. Probably give my soul to a devil. But I think I already did give my soul away. Long ago.
Docs will look at the other two and nod.
Sir, I don't know if this is the best. Jeeves, served me well for, what now? 80 years? Look. When I lost all the rest of my family and when my wife died in childbirth, I never found anybody else that I really could call my own. Thought of a lot of ways of extending my own life or getting family, adopting, but nothing ever felt right. And then time just ran out. Got too busy with work, distracted myself. This is a way to pass on myself, even if it cost me my life. I don't know. Maybe there's something to it. I always did want a kid. Jeeves, even if it's the spawn of darkness, it's still gonna be, well, fit right into this family, honestly speaking. Sir, if this is your wish, then I will go along with it, but I still have my misgivings about this entire deal. Well, you can arrange that. Well, I don't know what your Devil King can do to my body, but he's got to use it for the deal to be done. And then I'll give you the paperwork. But I think I'll also need your side of it in writing. I know that's something that your kind likes. Good contract.
Of course.
Probably signed in blood. I don't have a lot of that. I'd have just enough.
These terms are more than agreeable to me.
Okay, so now...
Getting weirder.
It's getting weirder. Mm-hmm.
It looks like,
Hey, there's magic that could make him look different.
There is magic that can make him look different. You might have to find some of that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're not too far off. You've got polymorph, right? Is there something like that?
There's there's certain disguise spells.
Maybe, like, you
Because
may
I know
like
there's like disguise self, but I'm not sure what.
That's more illusionary. You need like an alter self kind of thing.
Right. Yes.
Yeah,
Only
alter.
second level.
Yeah, but that's when you get into actual transmutation.
Yeah, it's a transmutation spell.
So maybe like rather than have disguise, like a item of alter self or something that you can give to an old man before his body is possessed by your devil lord, in order to. Now you have to just convince a woman to have relationships with a altered self to old man before he dies. I mean, you got half of this entire thing done, but now you have to go back with an even weirder part of the deal to a woman who, boots of alter self. Yes.
Gets boots of alter self.
Those are some really nice boots. They make you look different.
Oh my god.
Anyway, we should take our second break when this has gotten weird. Anyway, alright. Snack, drink, bathroom break, and then we'll worry about, like, going back to the other city now that you've got this half of things taken care of. To work on the woman again with even weirder proposition as the proposition has deepened.
Oh, boy.
So, need that snake, track, bathroom...
Nice.
Not snake. Snack, drink,
Snake.
bathroom break. Go ahead and grab any of that stuff and be right back. Snake. There's a snake in your boot. Of alter self.
We also get to see how the rehab's
gone for a
going.
little bit. Hopefully it's going well, because it could be a backup.
There we go. Now it's working. Yay, we're back. Snack. Come on, friend. I see now the comments. Hey, everybody. Back for the last, like, half an hour here. Probably a little less than that. So, you've gotten the terms from the old man. But if you can get those terms to be agreed to, he'll agree to it. You have his fortune under your control. Now you just have to figure out a way to polymorph / alter self on him long enough for the spirit of Asmodeus to possess his body and use it to have sweet, sweet relations with a debutante lady who really probably likes the sex part of things.
I mean, that's one thing, is we could say, we could simply say, you have to have a child, but you don't have to care for the child.
That's an accuracy, but I feel as though because of the nature of family with her, she probably would want to at least have the general rich person care. AKA, where's the nanny? Occasionally, like, you know, give influence and then send them off to boarding school.
Yeah, she doesn't have to care for the child. Some servants can do it.
Yeah, but she has to
Yeah,
arrange for
good
those
one.
servants to do
Yeah.
it. And give them opinions on what they should be doing with that child. You haven't done well enough with my child there. Please improve their demeanor somehow. Etc., etc.
Yeah.
I mean... there are some things that would make this entire thing easier possible, but you still have some hurdles ahead of you. But you can head back to New Waterdeep. When you arrive back, of course, sorry, Cilician is in rehab now. They're working with her. Thursday informed you that they got her into the rehab program pretty easily. It did take them a little bit to set it up. She went over the basic information. They're estimating it will probably be at least 5 weeks of rehab with her case, just from similar cases before. But they usually have a little bit of give in there. Now, it's probably been at least a week into that rehab by the time you return after, you know, your trip. So there's that part of the entire thing.
That's good.
How's she looking? Still like real bad or slightly better?
Probably really confused about what's going on.
True.
And probably in the phase where she looks really bad. As this is the part in time where things are like not doing good on trying to like get you off the drug. This is getting you.
Yeah.
That's probably the phase of it, you know. So as much as they're kind of weaning her off, so to say, you know, it still has it's still not as effective and still having issues. And again, the entire confusion of like why is she here kind of thing, and you know, not knowing what's up.
Yep.
So, what do you want to do? You've returned to New Waterdeep. You're back at the hotel. You've gotten the update on Cilician. You have some information for Jessica, but that's a whole nother negotiation.
Oh, okay, yeah. Probably start looking into ways to make an old man not look ancient.
Well, there is also the option of basically saying, like, continuing saying yes. The thing is, he wants an heir, so she'll have to have a kid, and put it in the contract, but never state it directly.
She's got good lawyers.
It also kind of, I feel like that also kind of goes against, like, quote-unquote fiendish types of contracts. Because the bad part is usually in there. People just don't read it.
Well, that's what I mean. But yeah, I mean, I know they have good lawyers, but my only thought is, yeah, I mean, there are ways to freshen it up a bit.
Just make it not sound as weird.
There certainly are ways to make it. Are any of you lawyers?
Doc's probably knows a few. Not here, though.
No.
Definitely not here.
My character is semi-well learned, but I don't think the modern knowledge covers law workarounds.
No!
Mishka would best know how to read enough to become one. But that would probably take a while.
We don't have 4 years of college.
But exactly. She could probably make it 2 years with how well she can learn things with the way that she studied, but we don't necessarily have that kind of time.
So, next subplot, Mishka goes to college.
It's like, we need a lawyer. Mishka, go to college. I'm on it.
Okay.
Bar exam time.
Back to studying, like, I used to do all the time. Let's go.
Now you've got raccoon friends to help you study.
True. I could probably shave that down to like a year then.
Raccoons will help me study. Don't worry about it.
Oh my god.
What are you talking about? Of course I'm in the class. It's not 3 raccoons in a trench coat, not at all.
That's your study partner. 3 raccoons in a trench coat.
Not quite a flump in a trench coat.
No.
Or 3 kobolds in a trench coat, but
you can only get so much trench coat based allies before it just gets a little silly.
Yeah.
before things start to fall apart.
I believe I'm supposed to, like, use a drum kit or something to, like, tap it at that point in time, but I'm just not great at that. So, anyway.
But
Right, so I guess
hire a lawyer.
get some consulting from maybe a less than, I don't want to say like mafia lawyer, but probably like a mafia lawyer. Get some consulting from someone like that.
Yes. Get consulting from a mafia lawyer. Gotcha. What business are we doing about here, boss?
Oh god, the voices. Right.
What kind of contract am I writing up here for you?
Doc's gonna explain the very strange contract that has been requested, and say, can you like maybe find a way to make it sound less weird?
Okay, how much of the contract are you revealing?
Probably leaving out like the literal spawn of D&D Satan part.
Yeah. Okay. So we're stepping away from the demonic possession and the dark spawn thing. We're having old man wants to have a kid and is probably going to use alter self to put himself or some kind of polymorph magic to put himself in a physical form capable of doing so, because he probably isn't physically capable right now.
Yep. Which is very weird.
That's kind of a strange one. Why are you arranging this for people? This doesn't seem like your normal line of work.
I got dragged into some weird things. It's been an adventure and a journey.
It sounds like it. Look, I can put up a contract for, like, banging an old man in order to get his inheritance. That's an easy kind of thing. There's plenty of broads out there, or dudes out there that bang old people in order to get inheritances. That happens a lot. The entire having a kid with them, using some magic, that's a little bit more weird on this end. I think you got to have the magic ready for it or something. So you're going to have to arrange something before you can get this contract kind of legal, because you need to have a kind of proof that you're going to be using it, especially since I'm using it in the wording here.
Yeah. We are working on that. This is mostly getting a little bit of advice.
Okay.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm more of a take a guy out back and, blow his brains out.
I mean, personally, that's what I prefer too. But when you go to school for 4 years, and get your bar, sometimes you have to do a lawyer in too.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's a time and a place for both.
I suppose.
Who do you think got the Big Antlers McGee off of charges?
Well, that was you. Nice.
Exactly. Technicalities. Them cops, they made a mistake in gathering the evidence. You find the technicalities and take care of it.
Well, we'll get back to you once we get the magic part sorted out.
Sounds good.
Do you know anyone with hats of disguises?
Handsome disguises are easy, but I think isn't that?
Oh wait, that's not alter self, is it? That's an illusion.
No, that's illusion.
Yeah.
You need some transmutation magic up in this business. Either alter self or like true polymorph.
Yeah. Scroll. We can get a scroll. Maybe.
I feel like that's gonna be hard to get in this day and age.
Not impossible, but hard.
I certainly do not have the connections for it.
No. If you're looking for something a little bit more rare, I can ask around. I mean, you've already been talking to the Dawn, and if I'm helping you out this far, I can at least ask around. It might cost you a little bit more, and I'm sure I can find someone that might be... there are people that traffic in old magic items, some of which should probably be regulated, let's put it that way.
That would be good to look into.
Okay. Because I will tell you, the difference between the alter self and the true polymorph is they both have concentration, but one of them requires the person that is using it to have the concentration.
That's a good point.
And
Yep.
which certain activities might hinder your concentration.
Yeah, strenuous activities break concentration.
Uh-huh. Mirror. This guy knocked the bed with the book. Doesn't mean you have to mirror me.
I'm still surprised there isn't like alter ally.
I mean, there's like... I know there's an illusionary group disguised self, seeming, but that's illusion magic.
Yeah. And you need some physical changes to allow this.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like... Things like level 9 magic is probably heavily regulated because it's kind of rare nowadays. Not unseen, but still very rare.
Yeah.
It tends to be there. It's like probably most individuals that can use that level of magic are the known individuals in the population too. You know, there's probably maybe a dozen individuals currently that are known to use level 9 magic, and that's worldwide. There are probably a few that are close to that, like level 8 and stuff, and farther few on 7. Probably, I would say, like, most mages, you probably need some kind of regulations, or, like, you know, at least to register that you, like what you do as soon as you get, like, 5th level magic, at least. Because that starts getting
magic.
tough.
Yeah, it starts getting very dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Especially in an age where magic is, like, it's not as common as it used to be. Like, minor magic is still relatively common. Like, minor magic items, those you can find around, as I kind of said when I first started this adventure. And probably there are plenty of people out there that can learn effectively first level spells. But most people do not dive very deep or beyond that. So, minor magic, it's around. Things beyond that become rarer. And probably the majority of, like, pretty decent spellcasters are basically magical doctors, because that's probably a field that still exists, that exists. But like a lot of the other spellcasters, especially because this is what wizard for true polymorph would probably have it.
Wizard, bard, and I think something else can get it.
Warlock, wizard, or bard.
Druid.
Or druid. No, druid doesn't get it.
Druid
They get shape change, right?
Yeah, they get shape change, I think.
Which is self then too.
Yeah.
Cloud shape and stuff, yeah.
But yeah, bard, warlock, or wizard. There are a number of wizards out there that are like level 9. Those are probably the ones that are the most that can use level 9 magic. But wizards. Probably like bard hasn't heard from, and warlocks probably there aren't as many warlocks at all anyway.
Yeah, probably not. That kind of requires actual connections to
The outer planes, which has been
outer planes
weakened.
and outsiders in general.
Yeah, which since that's been weakened, there probably is. Warlocks are probably incredibly rare nowadays.
Yep.
So your best bet would be to maybe contact one of these incredibly powerful wizards, find a magic item that would be regulated as level 9 magic, which a scroll of true polymorph might be out there. How much money it is? That's a tough one. You might have to go into your money bags and convince your money bags to lend you some money for that one.
Yep.
It's also probably incredibly illegal.
Oh, I think most things we've done at this point are incredibly illegal.
Probably.
It's not illegal if you don't get caught.
True.
Mm-hmm. So like the alter self, getting like a potion of alter self or something like that. That's probably, I don't know if there's actually a potion of it. There might be. Again, like 5th edition, I can never remember all the potions and stuff.
I'll be honest, I don't know if there are like a ton of rules against what kind of potions you can make, because a potion is still kind of a spell.
Yeah.
Even in 5e, but kind of.
It's only kind of.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, like, I get the feeling there could be like a potion of alter self or something. They don't list one, but that sounds like something.
I think there are there spells, like, because if there's any spell that just kind of, there are spells that basically just like mimic spells to some degree.
Yeah, they mimic spells to some degree.
Yeah, Lightning does make a good point. They might be limited to a certain spell level as well.
Alter self is level 3, so if you go the alter self route, that's probably not too difficult. I'm going to admit that. That's one that you might still have to use, like, the Mafia connections can easily probably get you a potion of alter self. That might have the ability that, regardless of the divine ability of the being possessing the body is still a old man's body that's being changed into another form. It might have trouble with concentration.
Yeah.
There might be like underlying issues that are being avoided by the transmutation.
Yeah, a potion would avoid having to concentrate on it, I think.
Yeah, the true polymorph would avoid the concentration, though, because one of you would use it on the form. You know, and give him the hour. But that, if you want to try that route, you can either go the alter self. Alter self has some possible issues. I'm going to say that. You can go that route. That's perfectly fine. If you want to go the true polymorph route, what I'll say is, what we'd have to do is there will be an underworld auction, which we can do. This will be a little optional thing that would take up part of the session. I know we're kind of end game. We've been kind of like trying to finish up, but you know, this has been extending things a little bit here and there. But I'm giving the option of the one that I'll make some checks and there could be some issues. There might not be issues. There might not be. Or you can go a guaranteed route, and we might, like, you know, see how long it takes us to finish the game, kind of at this point in time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you guys, because again, like, I know we've as we're getting to the end of the episode, I know, like, well, why don't you think about it
think about it for next session.
Yeah. Again, there's an option. These are 2 options. You've arranged most of it. You have the one girl that's going to be out of rehab in a couple of weeks. That's good. Then she's probably, in quotations, relatively easy to convince of things. Gonna be honest on that one. Jessica, on the other hand, a little bit more difficult to convince of things, but probably in ways a better choice. It's sort of like, physically she's probably better off than the other one, because regardless of how much you've rehabilitated her, there's probably permanent damage to the one.
Yeah.
So, but you've been worked on the 2 options, so we're getting close to it now. So yeah, consider some things. You can continue to think about which of the 2 girls you eventually settle on. Jessica, or I always forget her name, Celsian.
Yeah.
Celsian. And think about which route for the shape-changing you want to go for. Because I'm pretty sure either way, you've got... In order to get the old man's fortune, which is like something you were using, this is the route you have to take.
We're gonna have to have the old man.
It's a good bargaining chip with either of them.
Yep.
Anyway, so
There is a third option
ooh,
that I'm just realizing.
ooh.
Are there any devils who can know true polymorph.
I...
We have a necklace that can summon devils.
That's something I would have to look into. Statistics. I'd have to look in the bestiary to see it. I don't know if any of them actually would know that directly. There might be unique devils that might know that. And the thing is...
Well, the hard part is when that powerful, what are we going to give it as a deal?
Yes.
Yep.
One side, you have to go to legal auction to get money. The other side, yeah, more than likely you'd have to know a specific individual, like unique devil, to know it. I don't think normal devils would know it.
Probably not.
Yeah. So that does limit choices on that end. It doesn't make it impossible to summon a devil with it, but it makes it another one of those unlikelies. Anyway, why don't we do outros, though, regardless, and kind of pop off for today? Let's see here. Which direction do I want to go? We usually go counterclockwise. I'll stick with that. Jinx, start with you.
I'm Jinx Jams on Twitch and Twitter. I will be streaming in like an hour or two.
Ooh.
Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney.
Ooh,
With one of my friends. Yeah.
Nice.
Worm.
I'm Diamond Worm. You can find me on twitch.tv/DiamondWorm or at DiamondWorm on Twitter. I will not be streaming for the next 2 weeks.
Okay. And Momo.
Hi, I am Momo Shu on Twitch, Addy Shu on Twitter. I have some things I may stream. I am still waiting on some stuff to finish up, so I have more free time, though.
Cool. As myself, Dracovin. Mostly lately, I've just been doing RPG streams. If you're looking for those, other than this show, every Monday is at 2 p.m. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. will be Legacies of Kain, a Vampire the Masquerade game. Then on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m., all these are EST. Be Children of Wrath, a D&D game, also like this one, 5th edition, but it's set in the world of Dominaria, which is a Magic Gathering setting. And then Discussing Tabletop is at Saturdays at 2 p.m. If I find the energy / time, I might get some gaming streams in. I do want to finish up the final push on Stardew Valley, since I was almost done that, and a few weeks break from anything has been probably nice to refresh that. I've been kind of want to do that, and there's a couple other games that I want to definitely get in there now that they're out and kind of around. So I might get to some of those this week. I'll see what my schedule ends up being. Again, whether or not I'm alive enough and have the time, we'll see. But guys, check out the other role-playing related content. Remember to check out my YouTube channel for any of the VODs will go up during this week. So if you missed anything, you can either check it out later here on Twitch or there with the breaks edited out. And yeah, any other links are down below for us. Remember to check these people out when they do stuff. And everybody, have yourself a great rest of the day. Just chill, feel great, feel good, and have a good one. So until next time, farewell, folks.
See ya.